When it comes to public safety, we know Democrats have lots of ideas that are questionable at best and deadly at worst. And that, of course, has led to many of the blue cities being the most violent places in America. And this is where it's being discussed over here by Brandon Gill, totally excoriating Muriel Bowser over the state of Washington, D.C. But before we begin, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Mayor Bowser, thank you to you especially for coming here. You've been mayor for about 10 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. And during that time, would you describe D.C. as a safe city?
Yes.
You would?
Listen, Mr. Gill, and it was brought up earlier by the Congresswoman from Detroit.
The murder rate in Washington, D.C. is the fourth highest of any city in the country. Would you describe that as a safe city?
I have heard every statistic and factoid, and they're all different. About where our city.
Are you disputing that Washington, D.C. is the fourth highest murder rate in the country?
I'm not familiar with that statistic.
You're not familiar with that statistic. This is your city.
Mr. Gill,
respectfully, this is your city.
Respectfully, I know that we have driven our murder rate down.
What was the homicide rate in 2014 before you were elected?
I don't know.
Do you know how much the homicide rate has changed during your 10 years, Mayor?
I do.
How much?
It has gone up.
It's gone up by about 70%. It's gone up by about 70% from 2014 to 2024. Those are from the Metropolitan Police Department. That is correct. I don't think that number is correct. You should know the crime statistics for your own city, especially whenever it's this dangerous. Do you know how carjackings have trended during your time in office?
I know that they have gone down.
They're up over 500% since from 2014 to 2024. That's not a safe city. I don't think any person would call that a safe city. We'll move on. Do you agree that defunding the police makes our communities less safe, don't you?
This is what I want to say.
It's a straightforward question.
Yeah.
You're not going to filibuster. Do you think that defunding the police makes our communities less safe?
What I know is that people have moved here. People have sent their kids here. People have started businesses here. We have record.
Does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe?
Those are the indications
Does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe?
Where people want to live, work, and visit.
You won't even back your own police department right now. I'm asking you, does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe? And you won't give me a straight answer.
I've already answered that today.
And why don't you tell me again, do you think that defunding the police makes our communities more or less safe?
I've never defunded the police, nor would I.
So you think it makes our communities less safe, is that correct?
I just told you, I've never defunded the police, and I never would.
I understand that. You know, you may not have defunded the police, and that's a good thing, but you did provide a $125,000 grant to an organization lobbying to defund the police. Are you aware of that?
What is that you just raised?
It's an organization called HIPS that you provided just this year, fiscal year 2025. $125,000 grant to.
I think we funded them to do public health work.
Quote, "It's time we shifted to a society free of police and systems of incarceration."
We fund them for public health work.
For public health?
Yes.
Does this make our communities more healthful?
We fund them for public health.
Do you think defunding our police and lobbying to defund our police and undermine local law enforcement makes our communities more safe?
I've answered that question.
More helpful? Do you think that providing tax dollars to an organization who wants to defund our police is good for the residents of Washington, D.C.?
We wouldn't fund them for that purpose. We would fund them.
But you funded them, and you chose to give them money. You gave them hard-working tax dollars to an organization that wants to defund the police.
We fund them for public health.
Do you think that giving housing, free housing to illegal aliens is an appropriate use of tax dollars?
We think if it keeps people off the streets, then we have to keep people off the streets.
You agree with giving your residents tax dollars and using them to give subsidized housing for illegal aliens?
But Mr. Gill, we also didn't agree with the governor of Texas or Arizona busing people, tricking them to come to our city.
And
we didn't agree with that either.
It's surprising to me because you're also funding NGOs that support free housing for illegal aliens.
And I hope you would agree that other governors shouldn't send people on buses that don't have any housing to our city.
Free housing for illegal aliens in your city. That makes your city less safe. I want to move on. In May of 2024, and this was referenced earlier, there were some major pro-Palestinian protests and sit-ins at George Washington University. This was during final exam season. They were terrorizing Jewish students. They were doing it for weeks. It was a major problem. The police were called in and you stopped them from doing their job. Why is that?
I didn't stop the police from doing anything.
It is illegal for them to block a roadway. We've got the law right here. It's unlawful for a person alone or in concert with others to obstruct or incommode any street avenue. That's exactly what they were doing. And you refused to allow police to clear them out. Why is that?
That's incorrect.
Why would you stop? Clear the record then.
I never stopped the police.
You didn't stop them?
No, I did not.
You didn't stop them. Would you like to explain what happened? Why police never cleared out this roadway?
Police did clear roadways.
They were there for weeks.
Police cleared roadways.
They were there for weeks.
Actually, they were probably on private property, not on the roadway.
No, they were on public roadways.
No, they weren't.
Terrorizing Jewish students, and you
weren't.
allowed it to happen.
No, they
weren't.
weren't.
My time back.
No, they weren't.
Oh my goodness, here we have Mayor Muriel Bowser making some bold claims at the end there that are very untrue, and we'll get to all of that in 1 second. But let's go ahead and start with this, the crime rates, okay? Muriel Bowser was first elected mayor of Washington, D.C. all the way back in 2014, all right? And we have, of course, complete crime data up to 2024, and this is what Brandon Gill is referencing. And we know that homicides increased 78%. I believe Brandon Gill said 70, but the information I was able to find is 78. All right. And then, of course, we have violent offenses. That is up over 100%. Property crimes up over 300%. And yes, the carjackings up over 500% ever since this lady became mayor. Okay, so is she making things better or worse? And it looks like worse to me across all metrics. Now, of course, the numbers people like to tout is, oh, we've had a huge drop, 30%, 50% since 2023, because we all know there was a huge spike surrounding the COVID era and all of these mandatory lockdowns, which, of course, caused criminals to really go crazy, apparently. So, yes, they have been dropping recently, but if you look at her tenure, they are way up. Then, of course, you have Muriel Bowser trying to provide free housing for illegal immigrants as opposed to deportation. I know which one I prefer, right? Americans' hard-earned tax dollars going towards illegal immigrants versus, of course, kicking them out of our country because we have no idea who they are and what crimes they may have committed. But you're going to hear the clapping seals in the background for Muriel Bowser supposedly bringing it to Brandon Gill. However, there's one thing I do want to mention. Washington, D.C. had declared itself a sanctuary city, and you just heard Muriel Bowser complain about states like Texas sending them the illegal immigrants. But I thought you wanted them. I thought you wanted to protect them. And she's complaining they didn't have anywhere to house them. Do you think Texas does? Do you think Florida does? Do you think all of the border states do? All right. You just had to participate just a tiny little bit in the problem that we've been facing in our southern states for decades. And she didn't like it. But of course, what's the solution? Free housing as opposed to free deportations. And then, of course, we're also going to talk about the road closures, right? Muriel Bowser just said, oh, I totally allowed police to clear off the roads, right? And by the way, all those roads were totally on private property, all right? Well, I just found this lovely little clip talking about road closures during all of those protests.
Those several street closures currently that are in effect because of that protest encampment we were talking about through Northwest all morning long. Right now, that closure affecting H Street there between 20th and 23rd. That's Pennsylvania between 20th and 21st, as well as 20th Street there between F Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. So just make sure you're taking note of that. This definitely is across many roadways throughout the area of Southwest.
So yeah, there you have it. Apparently the roads were never closed, or were they? And all this, of course, was all during the pro-Palestine protest. But of course, according to Muriel Bowser, none of this ever happened, right? Right? Okay. Now, the real reason I love Brandon Gill is that he always brings some very interesting receipts. And you'll notice he mentioned that organization HIPS that got $125,000, and they actually do support defunding the police. So I decided to do a little internet sleuthing, and I found this organization, and I believe it's the same one. This is HIPS, based out of Washington, D.C., and look at what they have on their main page. Advancing the health rights and dignity of people and communities impacted by sex work and drug use. These are the people getting taxpayer dollars, all right? Sex workers and drug abusers, okay? But if you check out some of their news releases, you can see over here we have some very interesting headlines like this one down here. Decriminalizing sex work and drugs central to trans and LGBTQ rights, all right? So apparently prostitution prostitution is essential to the LGBTQ community, along with drugs. And I don't think they're talking about transitioning drugs either. Okay, so that is the group that is actually getting this money, $125,000 worth. And of course, we have down here other things, how to decarcerate DC effectively. And this, of course, is the whole defund the police movement, which, by the way, Muriel Bowser, at least in this exchange, would not disavow. She says, I've never done it, but she wouldn't say whether or not it was a good idea. To you and me, we obviously know, yeah, that's a bad idea to take away money from the police so they can't actually do their jobs. But to the people on the left, they can't admit that outright because that will really upset their crazy leftist base. So what we saw here today, of course, was Muriel Bowser making a complete fool of herself, and Brandon Gill was the one doing it. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.